So those shots ultimately were at the heart of the kinetics of that film. I think the first Mad Max, I think there's shots where the camera is mounted low on the road and it's moving, and you see a lot of road blur. There were some lenses, Tadeo lenses, which were dumped in Australia because Sam Peckinpah had shot The Getaway with Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw. And he'd shot with these non-spherical anamorphic lenses, but basically the whole package, the only two lenses that worked, the 35mm lens and the 75mm lens. The hiring house said you could almost have them for nothing because no one is ever going to use them. So we ended up shooting most of Mad Max 1 on the 35mm lens. And because I realized that in that film, unlike something like that chase in French Connection, which was shot on the high line underneath where the city was blurring past all the time, which gave a sense of speed, the only thing we had was the road blur. So the camera had to be really low on the ground on a wide-angle lens. Right. And the camera always had to be moving. So those shots ultimately were at the heart of the kinetics of that film. And again, that was not inadvertent, but it was certainly what made, gave it its special flavour. This is going to sound strange. The shots that really stuck in my mind on Babe were the chapter headings. There was a test screening in Seattle, and the test screening was in the afternoon, and there were, mothers and fathers, and in many cases, little kids. And the thing I noticed immediately in the test screening is the moment a caption came up, the mothers or fathers would turn and read the caption to the little kids. So we had the little mice, the three little mice, at the bottom of the frame saying, "Pork is very sweet meat," in their little mouse voices. And that, to me, those captions were really what glued the film together and made it much more cohesive. So that was a big moment in the life of that film. And the captions lent into the problem of it being episodic and basically made a virtue of it and so on. So those captions were probably very, very key, particularly that one, "Pork is a very sweet meat." There were shots in Happy Feet that I'd like to talk about. There was one where you see the little penguin dancing by himself when he's little. So I didn't know how to make the film. And then the wonderful cinematographer Andrew Leslie, who shot the Babe movies, went and shot Lord of the Rings. And for the first time showed me the first motion capture of Gollum. And I'd never heard of motion capture before, but the moment he showed it to me, I said, that's how we can tell Happy Feet. So not only were we able to get great tap dancers, but we were able to get the greatest living tap dancer, Savion Glover, who basically is the inherited that tradition of tap dancing from all the great African-American tap dancers, from Sammy Davis Jr., but all those that go back earlier. And we were able to motion capture Savion Glover. And so that little penguin dancing was a big moment for me. Well, it's not character-based, but the first one that comes to mind. I still enjoy seeing it, where they finally get on the road to chase Furiosa and Max is part of it. Then we push past these guys on the back of the doof wagon and the guys drumming, and then we come right round the front to see the speakers and the doof warrior with his guitar. And at the right moment, he fires off this big plume of flames, and we see all the vehicles at the back and this great army that's giving chase to the war rig. I still enjoy seeing that show. Well, there's one shot at Furiosa, the stowaway sequence where she's stowing away on the newly built war rig. The opening shot, which pulls back on a roadway, and then you see someone's painted the Immortans logo on the road, and you see the black horns of the Octobos somehow claiming the territory of the Immortan, and then the horizon having almost a Lawrence of Arabia heat haze. And something's way off in that mirage of and then the bike turns 180 degrees and rides off, and we're left with the image coming forward. That had all those references to Lawrence of Arabia and the beginning, having seen how that's being built, and then leading up to the sequence where she has to have a crash course into being basically a road warrior.
Amazing sequence.
Yeah, so that's one scene I could refer to in this movie. There are two shots I've got from other films. One scene I can't forget in terms of its function and story, and it's from one of my top 3 favourite films of all time, Godfather. And there's that shot where Michael Corleone goes to the place where his father comes from. He meets the girl, and there's a shot, and I'm sure you remember it, where he's walking along some sort of track. The camera stays back, and you see them walking off, and they're talking, and then they're followed by the chaperones, which I think are 3 or 4 women, old women, all chatting amongst themselves, and they're walking along. And before the shot ends, there's 2 guys with shotguns. That shot is perfect storytelling in one shot. It tells you everything about the culture, everything about those specific people in that story. And the other favourite shot, I thought, of all the cinema that I've seen in recent years, the one that I keep going back to with a great deal of joy, and it makes me smile every time, and it's just a shot that exists by itself at the end of The Fabelmans. In that very last shot, where, having spoken to John Ford, the young Steven Spielberg, he talks about the horizons, and he's got that last shot, which he just very abruptly at the end is a little comment. It's just a wonderful, wonderful shot.
For more directors picking some favourite shots from their movies, check out our videos with Denis Villeneuve and Ridley Scott.